Hello everybody and welcome back to the Rogue Tanks devlog. This is day 16 and I have made the fourth tank, which is the missile tank. It has this missile on top of it. I guess I'm not sure about that graphic still, but it has a missile on top and it fires, which you then maneuver yourself. This is with the keyboard and mouse. If I fire a missile, it'll simply move towards my cursor. I can just direct it however I want, like this. I want to tell it where to go and, eventually hit the enemy. At first, I thought, this can be super overpowered. The simplest way for me to make this not overpowered is to have the enemy's target. If a missile is near them, then the enemy can just target the missile and shoot it down. I haven't developed that yet, but it would be super simple. The missile fires in the direction that the tank is facing. There is no, choosing what direction to fire in. It's got a lot of maneuverability options already. If I just let it sit there, it'll do that. Let me show you my controller input options. So the controller is similar. If you use the cursor version on the controller, it's basically the same thing, where the missile is just going to head towards that cursor. If you switch to without the cursor, then the missile is just simply, you just use the right stick to aim however you want it to go. Balancing can come later, but it's at least fun to use. You can fire multiple missiles, and if you're using the right stick only, then it'll simply go in the direction you're pressing. And as you should have noticed, they also have bounce. So if you are trying to go after an enemy and you barely hit the wall, then you'll just keep going if you have bounce abilities. But if I fire multiple missiles and I'm using a cursor setup, then they'll both go towards the cursor, which could lead to them crashing into each other. So I have created a new versus settings menu. So now, when you win a versus match, the upgrade will either go to all players, only to the winner, or only to the losers. And then, I don't really have a victory screen yet, but the idea is that after so many wins, then it declares that player the winner. Because you don't want to go on endlessly, because I found out through testing that if you have your bullet speed high enough, it'll just go through walls and other players, so you can't really win anymore if your bullet speed is too fast. There is a starting armor option, so you can decide how many armor points everybody starts each round with. I do also have the player win count up here, so in between each round you can see who's in the lead, who has how many wins, and out of 21 means we're going to 21 wins, so you know how close you are to finishing. It's just helpful information to have on hand, I'd say. So if I were to say just take out the other player, because armor does not carry over from match to match, but yeah, the upgrade is set for both players. So both of us get a upgrade selection, and it goes back here. You can see the win count has gone up for player 1. We're going to 21 points, and we're basically just picking another level to go to and repeat. However, you can make it just the winner, and I can demonstrate here, since the red tank will win this match. Only the red player is picking an upgrade. So I gotta show you the loser one works too. So red tank won, but orange tank gets to pick an upgrade. If it's one-on-one, it's probably a terrible thing to give the upgrade to the winner, because then they'll just snowball and wipe out the other player. But if it's multiplayer, 4 people, then if the winner gets the upgrade, then everybody else kind of turns on that player for the next round. And so it goes back and forth in that sense. But you need at least 3 or 4 players in order for upgrade going to the winner to be, a good option. The missile, I've got this new sprite. I originally had this sprite, but it's too large and detailed. It's 60 by 40, where this sprite is only 24 by 12. It's better suited to the game and its scale. The regular bullet is the parent of the missile object, and so the only thing unique to this is the step event, where it checks the player who fired this missile. Are they using keyboard and mouse? If not, then they're using the gamepad. The mouse code is pretty simple because it just finds, where's the mouse pointing at, go to that direction. Where the gamepad, you gotta get the direction of the right analog stick, the horizontal and vertical directions. You gotta check is the owner using the crosshairs or not, because if they are, then it's kind of like the mouse code, where you just find out where the cursor is and go towards it. where if it's not, then you gotta calculate the direction that the stick is pointing in. If the absolute value of the stick is greater than 0, as long as the stick is not 0, change direction. Otherwise, it was doing this thing where it would automatically point right. And I had this problem with the turret before originally, and I just checked, and yeah, I do have to have this absolute value check. If it's at 0, you don't want it to just change direction towards 0. And then I have the bullet trail still, which is just like the regular bullet trail. So I kind of copied the regular settings code first, and then kind of changed these values down here. So the winner upgrade is a new variable, and if it's 0, then it's winner goes to all. If it's at 1, then it says upgrade goes to winner. If it's not 0 or 1, then it should be 2. But in that case, upgrade goes to the losers. It just draws that different text on the screen. Below that, it has end at blank wins, and the blank is filled in with this variable wins end. Same thing below that, start with blank armor, and start armor is a variable there. In the reset portion, I added this: if you're in versus mode, then the armor should equal start armor. And this is in the section of the code where it resets the player's position. So at the start of a match, it'll put the players certain spots on the map, the X's that I've placed. These blue X's are the versus mode starting positions. In a normal level, when all the enemies are defeated and it's not versus mode, then it goes into this upgrade menu. Or if it is versus mode, and there's only one player remaining, and I have this or win counter greater than or equal to 0, but basically the main trigger is that it's versus mode and there's only one player remaining. Then it goes into this upgrade menu thing, because there's like a delay before the actual upgrades pop up after the last player is defeated, and that's when the win counter equals 0, because it starts at -1 and it goes to 0, and that's when the upgrade menu pops up. You award a point right here. So before you revive any players, you just take the object player and find out what player number they are and give that player extra points. This is a new variable, wins. Player 1 is a new variable. There was a bunch of new variables for just the versus mode stuff. Like I got the new cursor, wins end point, like the winner upgrade, starting armor, and then wins for each player. And so you give the only remaining player object, you find out what player number they are, and you give that player number win count. So then you check if winner upgrade is 0, meaning all players should get an upgrade, then we go ahead and revive everybody. If the winner upgrade is 2, meaning only the losers get upgrades, then we find out the player ID of the player that's remaining. The last remaining player is the winner, so we find out who that is. Then we revive everybody. These two lines together are needed to remove the player that won and be able to get them back later. Then we go into the upgrades. So everyone who lost is now back and the person who won is gone. This is the point where we actually hit the upgrades. Before that, I also have a player ready equals 0, because in the revive script, in the campaign mode, a revived player can't just pick an upgrade right as soon as they get revived. So I added that extra line to make sure everybody is ready to get upgrades. And then also right here, there's a if versus mode again. If not everyone is revived at this point after everyone's picked upgrades, then you revive anybody who's left. And the way that the winner gets an upgrade thing works is that neither of these conditions are true. It's not everybody, and it's not the losers, so the person who won is still there, and so they'll come into here and get the upgrade, and then revive everybody afterwards. It was a little tricky to figure out first. I wasn't sure how I was going to get those upgrades sorted through, but this system works. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. Next thing I'll be working on, I believe, I'll need to get like a mini boss for the missile. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.